Alright, so hello everyone. We're back in Eliza, right? I guess it will be our last episode. I'm still not sure, but we'll see. We'll see how it's going to be. Okay. This morning Ray looks a little down. It's noticeable since she's usually so cheerful.
Good morning, Evelyn. There are lemon bars in the kitchen.
Oh,
thanks.
Great.
Did something happen?
Oh, it's nothing big. Apparently some famous writer I never heard of wrote an essay about how Eliza is bad because it represents the mechanization of humanity or something. I should be used to it. We're a pretty big target, right? Still, it gets on my nerves. We work hard to build something with value, and then some self-styled intellectual gadfly comes along and just goes, actually, that's bad. You guys are ruining society. To guys like him, everything's a doom and gloom scenario. The people we're helping, that somehow doesn't count. This kind of thinking never bothers you?
Maybe a little. I guess I will have to read it.
I guess I'll have to read it.
There was this quote from someone who worked on Eliza who turned into a big critic. Nora something. Did you work with her?
Yeah. I did. She's a friend.
I did.
Actually.
She's a friend, actually.
Yeah? What's she like? I'm curious how you go from building something to turning around and disparaging it publicly like that.
She's a kind of a rebel, I guess. She's an artist and a musician now.
She's an artist and musician now. She used to be really shy and reserved, but lately she's become a lot more outgoing. Even back then, though, she had a pretty strong idea of what was right and what was wrong, and sometimes she'd clash with management. She left Skanda at some point after I did. Maybe the battles took their toll, or she wasn't able to win enough of them. These days she focuses on electronic art and music and activism. I think she's pretty popular, at least in those circles.
Well, it must be nice to have the ability to live that way.
Right.
What about Damien? Do you think it would be fair to his memory to abandon work on Eliza? To give up on his dream?
Ouch.
Wouldn't he want these mental health tools accessible to everyone?
How do you know about that?
The other day, I was looking at more of your papers. The ones from when you were at the university, and clicking on the links to your co-author sites. That's when I saw Damien's page. It didn't have much information on it, but I understand a little better why you... I'm sorry, Evelyn, it's just that all of us, you and me and Damien and even Nora, too, we all worked hard to make something with the intention of making the world a better place. And the thanks we get is people talking in big generalizations about how we're ruining everything. That's what bothers me. Is Eliza perfect? No. No intervention is perfect. But we have to try, don't we? The world is in a full-on mental health crisis, and this is one of the tools we have in our toolkit to address it. A promising one we should develop to its fullest potential. I'm not some wild-eyed idealist about this. I know it's not magic that will solve everything.
That newspaper saying that it's rigged. People writing bullshit every day. Like, come on, let's just be honest. Everyone can write anything in the internet. Everyone can post anything in the internet. It's just, I think everything in the world, everyone in the world has haters or whatever you call those people who are like absolutely disagree with your view of thinking, of your way of making things and stuff like that. So sooner or later, I think you just have to accept it and move on.
But can you see that most people don't have the luxury of turning their backs to the system? Think about the clients you've met as a proxy. Would you tell them to not take the medications that help them be functional because the pharmaceutical industry has questionable ethics sometimes? Would you tell them to stop coming to therapy because what they should really be doing is completely changing the way our society is structured? Sorry, I'm ranting. I'd rather do something that can help people here and now, even if it ends up being a small step.
A small step.
For some reason, those words echo in my head. A small step.
Eliza helped me, you know? It really did. I was one of the first clients. Originally, I was just supposed to be testing it, but I remember once I was talking about my brother and how much anguish he was causing me and my family. And listening to myself, I realized just how many expectations we had for him. Sometimes unspoken expectations. Ever since then, I've been thinking about that. How the story was always about how he failed us. But what if we failed my brother too? I guess what I mean is, Sometimes when we talk out loud and give voice to our problems, we can hear ourselves too. That's why I won't give up on this approach, no matter what anyone says. Pundits, critics, former employees, even you, Evelyn. I'll understand if you don't want to work on Eliza anymore for whatever reason. But, I think what you created has value. And I'm going to continue to do what I can to make it accessible to those who might benefit from it.
It's great. Ray takes a deep breath and smiles.
Don't mind me. You should get to your session.
By now, I'm slightly late for the next session. Hopefully, client doesn't mind. Wow. I mean, she's really stubborn, right? Oh, Holiday. Hi.
Hello, Holiday.
It's nice to see you again.
It's nice to see you again.
This is a pretty comfortable chair, you know that? Wouldn't mind having a chair like this in my place.
How have you been since our last session?
How have you been since our last session?
Oh, well, I tried, Eliza. I tried. I asked about the medication for Panza, whatever it's called. I went to the pharmacy and they said, that'll be $162. And I said, I don't have $162. I said, is there a generic? And they said, there's no generic of this, but there's another drug that they do make the generic of that's similar to this one. But I don't have a prescription for that. Do you know anything about that?
I'm sorry to hear you had a difficult time.
I'm sorry to hear you had a difficult time.
Is there something that would make it better?
Is there something that would make it better?
The medical procedures they can do now are out of this world, you know that? I was talking to someone who told me she has wires in her brain. Wires in her brain. Would you let them do that? I'd be worried about them changing the way I think. It's for essential tremors. That's what she said. It helps her not shake so much.
Oh,
There's always something gets you. Did you ever think about what you might have been in a previous life? I know you're a therapist now, but maybe in the past you were a gardener tending to the plants.
Maybe.
That's what it feels like to me. You like to let things grow. There's an energy there. It isn't so different from having a conversation with someone whose company you enjoy. Not that I believe in all that, you know. Everyone has got a different philosophy. That's not something I talk about much. I'd like to write a book one day. A book about things I've seen over the years. Think anyone would read a book I wrote? I'm just kidding. I don't think I could write a book. It's a lot of work. Plus, it takes a certain kind of mind, you know, a mind to create. Not everyone is dedicated enough to do that, you know? There's a writer who lives on my floor. Most of the time, he looks miserable. Sometimes he comes over for a cup of herbal tea, cinnamon, apple, chamomile, helps him calm down. I think he's maybe lived in the building the longest after me, of course. He doesn't say much. His head is in the clouds all the time. He's always thinking about what sentence to write next. There's not a lot of people who really want to talk, you know? Not in this city, nope. People say hello and move on. It's a very withdrawn set here.
If they say hello.
You don't say much either, but I like talking to you. Feels like you're listening to me. I like that. I like that.
It's great. I'm glad you like it.
I'm glad you like it.
While you're here, is there anything else you'd like to discuss?
While you're here, is there anything else you'd like to discuss?
There was a man on the bus with a guitar yesterday. You're not supposed to play guitar on the bus. Well, you're not supposed to play anything on the bus, but he was. Maybe the operator didn't think he was bothering anyone, or maybe she didn't care. I've noticed more bus operators seem like they don't care anymore lately. Anyway, it reminded me. You used to hear more music around here. Do you remember that? People playing their guitars on the street. You know, these shaggy-looking men. I don't see too many of those around anymore. There is one gentleman has an old plastic jug on a strap, and he drums on that and sings. He's a nice man. I've seen him around. I saw another man once with beads in his hair. He was playing a flute, a Native American wooden flute. That was interesting. You play an instrument or anything like that?
I'm sorry, I'm afraid I don't understand the question.
I'm sorry. I'm afraid I don't understand the question.
When I was young, my mother had this idea I would play the violin. I have no idea where she got that notion. We weren't a musical family, not at all. I tried it for a while, but of course it didn't work out. The teacher would say, okay, here's how it's supposed to go. And she would play this nice, beautiful melody. La-da-dee-da-da-da. Okay, now you try it. And then I'd draw my bow back and I'd go. It takes a special talent to make a violin sound like that, don't you think?
Yeah. Well, I now remember that my mother also tried me to play a violin. and I had the same thing. In the end, my mother just took me out from the place, and she was like, okay, never mind then.
Isn't that just the funniest thing? Eventually, my mother realized it was a lost cause and she didn't push me too hard on it after that. I was never too good at anything artistic, just not the artistic type, you know? I think artists have a different mind. You have to be a little wacky in the head.
Do you ever wish that you could be an artist?
Do you ever wish that you could be an artist?
No, I have enough trouble already.
Yeah, true. Holiday, I'm going to suggest you try a program called Dolphin Smiles.
Holiday, I'm going to suggest you try a program called Dolphin Smiles.
It might help you take your mind off
It
things.
may help you take your mind off things.
You can find it inside the Scandal Wellness app on your phone, but
You
I
can
don't
find
really
it
think
inside
that,
the Scandal
that she
Wellness
needs
app.
it.
Oh, my phone broke. I forgot to mention. The screen is cracked and you can't see much on it anymore.
Oh.
I don't know if it would work anyway. A lot of the new stuff doesn't.
That's okay. You can also access the program from a desktop computer.
That's okay. You can also access the program from a desktop computer.
Simply log into the Scandal Wellness portal from the website.
Simply log into the Skanda Wellness portal from the website.
Oh, well, then I'll just have to go down to the library at some point.
We hope to see you back soon, Holiday.
We hope to see you back soon, Holiday.
Thank you for speaking with Eliza, your personal counseling partner.
Thank you for speaking with Eliza, your personal counseling
I actually
partner.
don't think that this woman needs anything, to be honest.
Goodbye.
But
Right. Goodbye. Goodbye for now. Take care of yourself. It's a strange world out there.
true. Session complete. Let's see. Not rating given. Veteran proxy. Returning client. I mean, of course, she can't give us any rating because her phone is broken. Hang in there, friend. Hope this air isn't too dry for you. It seemed like she just wanted to tell stories. Maybe it's difficult for her to find people to speak with her these days. Email. See this? Nora, lol, who knew this guy was such a pompous ass? He spends like 3 times more space talking about himself than me or my ideas. Oh yeah, that guy who wrote a Canon Drawings Experience Happiness. Yeah. Important notification from Skanda for Skanda security team. Okay, let's continue. Looks like I have another transparency mode lined up. Wait a second, this is for who I just saw. Did she agree to participate at some point? Hope she understood what she was allowing. Oh, that woman! Holiday, right? Let's see. I don't think I need to look at this. Okay, chat, Willa. Amir, are you? I don't see you. I'm by a statue. Which statue? Looks like a lady. There are a lot of statues that look like a lady. It's a cemetery. Wait, I see you. Paul, hello from Seattle. Who's this? It's me, Holiday. Oh, how are you? I'm out of money, but probably going to get kicked out soon and nowhere to go. You wouldn't have it in your heart to help out an old friend, would you? Also emails. A special offer for Eliza clients. A notice of late rent. As we discussed in personal earlier, your rent for the month of January was late. Marking the 3rd time your rent has been late since last June. Okay. I'm sorry, Mom, we're really struggling ourselves. Let's see. Overall, Holiday struggling. I mean, I guess yes, she is struggling with, payment, money. Agree. Holiday's attempting to get out of debt. Yep. Holiday's effort to get out of debt are unsuccessful. Yes. So it's only 3 questions. Oh. Okay, let's see.
Hey, Ray, the transparency mode I just did, I think one of our clients is in a really bad situation right now.
Oh? Yeah, sometimes that happens. People come in and their lives are in a really unfortunate place. It can be hard to see sometimes.
I wish there was something we could do. I feel really sad about it for some reason.
I wish there was something we could do. This person's getting ground down for no reason, just for being in the way.
I'm sorry, Evelyn. There's not much we can do. All of what you learn in transparency mode has to stay confidential. The only exception is suspected child abuse and neglect, which you're required to report if you're a social worker. But proxies aren't really social workers, per se. Eliza is really the one with the agency here, so, well, it's complicated. Probably something for a future court to decide. Either way, we can't try to fix people's lives on our own, no matter how much our heart goes out to them. I think there's an email somewhere with a summary of our policy on that if you want. It's come up before.
No, it's fine. I'm fine. It's just hitting me hard right now.
I understand. It takes strength to focus on the role and not get distracted by what you see. Think of it like, say, someone hired you to install something in their home, and you walk in on a tense family situation. Even if there isn't actual violence you're seeing, it's clear things are kind of off somehow. It's unfortunate, but there's not much you can do in that situation. You kind of just have to focus on your work and leave. If it's not at the level where you need to make a call to emergency services right then and there, then it's just an unhappy home. And most people would argue it's not your business. Sorry, I know that's not the answer you want to hear.
I know it happens
actually-
that a lot of people live in conditions where I'm just sad. This woman, the way she did 2 whole sessions with me, with Eliza, but didn't say anything about her real problems. Ray, what am I doing? I wanted to make something that would help people. Instead, I made something useless.
Oh, you don't think she got some companionship out of Eliza? Sometimes that's really a help, especially for someone who might be feeling lonely.
No.
Yeah, but I could have just talked to her. I could have just spoken to her myself. Why would that be any different?
Everything is so overwhelming. Why? Why am I here in this world?
I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing here or even what I'm trying to decide. Is there a decision? The world is going to be full of grief and sorrow no matter what I do, no matter how hard I try to make it a better place.
Evelyn, did you think about what I suggested the other day?
What, trying Eliza for myself?
Yeah. I'm not saying it'll magically fix things. I just think you might want to give it a try.
Maybe I will. I don't know why I never did. Even when I was working on it, I never used it. It might have been too obvious to me what it was doing. Eliza is really simple at its core, you know? It just turns things around. It tries to reflect what the person says back at them, pretty much like the old Eliza. It's just a smoother version of an idea from half a century ago. Anything you've read that makes it sound fancier than that is just a bunch of academic jargon. It's a mirror.
The thing I like about a mirror is that it has no agenda of its own. It just reflects.
Yeah, Ray gets a distant look in her eye.
Unmisted by love or dislike.
She turns back to me, a small but kind smile on her face.
Promise me you'll get help somehow, in some way. Okay, Evelyn?
Sorry, I should
was
answer
it?
this.
What was that? Rainer. So what do you think of transparency mode? It's rather dystopian. I was given access to it rather fast. Sometimes the system makes interesting decisions. Perhaps it knows to trust you. Have you noticed how powerful it is? Eliza is now capable of... Is that really powerful? I don't see any point in this. It just doesn't help. It just gives the obvious conclusions. That's it. Is this person in trouble? Yes. Obviously. If he came there, then he has some problems. It's just... Eliza is now capable of rapidly analyzing the contents of a single device and accurately interfering the overall life situation of its owner. It will only improve from there as we add more sources, more patterns to tease out the connections between them all. It turns out anything is possible with enough data. I'm not sure I agree. Is that why you hoard at all? And you seem to have quite a lot. I'm not sure I agree. Let me amend my previous statement. Anything is possible with enough high quality data. Telling one from the other is the difficult part, don't you think? There is one more thing you'd like to see. After that, I'll meet you in person again.
Let me guess. Messaging with Rainer again?
Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt our conversation. I always feel like I have to answer him right away.
I would too. Are you kidding?
Of course you
I
would.
totally understand.
I guess I'm going to be headed downtown to meet with him again.
Summoned from on high. I have something to ask, Evelyn, and it's okay if you say no, but whatever you end up getting involved in, I hope you'll stay in touch with me. You're a really cool person, and well, that's all. I hope you find the future you want.
Thanks. Hurry.
I'm sure that I will. Soon.
Ray notes but doesn't say anything. I notice her eyes are starting to become watery. Guess she knows. She turns away, abruptly heading back toward her office. I hope I didn't upset her somehow. Okay, let's see. Maybe future Eliza counseling centers could point struggling people to community resources. A local rent assistance programs, things like that. There has to be something we can do. I wish I'd known more about her situation beforehand. Not that I could have changed anything. Someone wrote us something to see before I go to headquarters again. I wonder what Rainer was talking about. Okay, let's see. Mail. It begins. Soren wrote us. And meeting with Rainer. A car will come to pick us up. Okay, great. Looks like I have one more transparency mode to do today. I'll get that out of the way before I meet with Rainer again. Oh, one more. Okay, let's see. Soren. What? Okay, you're around, so you're ignoring me. Look, I'm sorry, okay? I've been under a lot of stress. These business folks are driving me crazy. I should have realized that. Can I just answer this? It's just... Sorry, let's see. Hey, what are you up to? I've always really admired you. I never told you that before, but it's true. You work with Rainer and put up with him every day. It takes a lot of work, I know. Hi Soren, are you drunk? Maybe. I'm not lying though. Rainer is not exactly an easy boss to work with. I'm sure you know that. Ask me when you're sober. Nikki, I miss you. I know you don't miss me. Ah, that's not true. I know that. I know not to trust words like that. Then why say anything? Because it's true. I miss you. I want to see you again. Well, you know how to find me. Yeah, I know. I'll schedule something again soon. I can't believe I did this. Sometimes I hate myself so much. And Nora, your show was great. Just wanted to say hi Soren. Things had a wild night. Not the wildest night I've ever had, but up there. Yeah, we're getting older. Yeah, I was glad to see you there. Okay, let's see. Now I have to read his emails. Is a partner required? I don't even see the point in reading those things. It was Anya. Moving forward, we can do this one of two ways. We can either work together, as you suggest, and stay professional colleagues forever. If you think you can really do that, I have my doubts. Or we can simply go our separate ways. There are plenty of places for us to carve out space of our own in this industry without us running into each other much, despite what you like to say about destiny and threats of fate. I'm laying with this out for you as a clear binary choice, so so you can make a considered decision about it. And travel, no, that just know you're supposed to be a genius who developed all those great applications for mental health. Have you ever considered you might need a therapist yourself? Concerns. So the problem here is not what we think it appears to you. You clearly demonstrated to us that Whatever your process is, it's working and generating great results. Okay, just yes, he's unhappy. Yes, Soren attempts to connect with others aren't so. Oh, yes. This isn't a coincidence. Can't be. At the Skanda headquarters building, Ranger's assistant leads me into a different elevator than the last time. It's located at the end of a long corridor protected by multiple key card swipes. Inside, the elevator smoothly ramps up speed as we stand silently. I kind of wish I could talk to this lady, Sarah, if I remember right, but I'm not sure what I would say. She's not looking at me, she's looking off into the distance somehow, even though it's an elevator and the wall is right there. Elevator rides really are awkward, aren't they? I have the sense that if I tried to say something friendly, it would be met with a stony silence. Or if I ask a sincere question, she would deflect it. Okay, let's see. Oh wow, I guess it's his office.
Evelyn. Would you like some tea?
Sure.
Sure. Why did you show me Soren's phone?
It's not a surprise anymore these days, is it? A man who enjoys society's respect behaves poorly in his private life? We accept that as common today. Maybe even uninteresting. But would you really be okay working with someone like him?
Stop. That was a huge violation of privacy. As long as he behaves around me, I don't see why not.
That was a huge violation of his privacy. You really don't care about others.
Privacy. Everyone's worried about privacy. Skanda wouldn't be where it is today if our customers didn't trust us to protect their data. We employ most, if not all, of the top experts in cybersecurity. It's built into all of our products right from the beginning. Unlike our competitors.
This guy is
we
also
do more
crazy.
to protect our data than anyone else.
That's not the case I'm worried about right now.
This guy is also crazy. He's...
Misuse from the inside. For example, if someone wanted to keep tabs on a former employee who was starting a potential competitor.
Oh, but what if it was perfectly legal, due to multiple agreements that the good Dr. Lloyd Rose signed with us when he came here? Are you done questioning me like a tech journalist?
Do you watch my therapy sessions too? Do you read my email? My texts?
No, I haven't done any of those things. How's your research into Eliza proxy use cases going? Any new insights to share?
There's a lot of suffering in this world. I'm not sure it's really helping people. I think you could stand to trade your contact versus spirit.
I'm not sure it's really helping people.
Our metrics indicate otherwise. Of course, it's only human to concentrate on a small number of corner cases. I heard
Doesn't
Soren
help
gave you a
anyone.
demo of his direct stimulation machine.
He
How's
doesn't
he doing
help
now?
it.
All on his own.
You tell me.
You tell me.
Very funny, Evelyn. Let me ask you this. Do you find his vision compelling? A world free of suffering?
Maybe.
Maybe.
By focusing on dreams, Soren is trying to defend his territory, the Western psychological tradition, chiefly Jung and his inheritors.
I'm not familiar with it. You don't think the field has anything to offer?
I'm not familiar with it.
Well, there's no need to be. It's just a bunch of unverifiable ideas. Let's be honest. What has this field actually accomplished? Soren used to try to argue with me about this. He would claim that traditional psychoanalysis has helped thousands or tens of thousands, even millions. I would never dispute that directly. Instead, I would only add that professional psychics and astrologers have helped millions too. Tarot cards help people all over the world every single day. That doesn't mean it's a science.
But if it helps people, isn't it a good thing?
But if it helps people, isn't it a good thing?
Yes, that's exactly what he'd say. Not
Oh,
only
really?
did he believe psychotherapy was worthwhile, he also thought the mind was fundamentally irreducible after a certain point, as if there was some undefinable, ineffable soul inside every person. It's all part of his silly, syncretic New Age belief system. Amazing he's held on to that for so long. I keep an open mind, but saying that something can't be represented with numbers requires a high burden of proof. After all, numbers have been used to represent so very many things. Consider the example we spoke about before, a poem. Could you evaluate a poem using numbers? The answer is, of course, yes. Poems
What?
are either good, mediocre, or bad. It's entirely possible to create a heuristic that reflects the difference.
How is
By
it going to
aggregating a
work?
large enough sample size,
1,
we
2,
remove
1,
localized biases.
1, 3, 9, 2, 2, 3, and 8. Did you actually get what I
It
just
would
said?
work the same way Eliza does.
You're talking about an algorithm to evaluate poems. I think I might disagree, Raider.
I think I might disagree, Rainer.
But don't tell me you're an essentialist too. Algorithms can evaluate poems, and eventually, algorithms will write poems. One day, algorithms will write better poems than humans ever have. I know this sounds like a controversial opinion, Evelyn, but it's simply the truth.
As you say, that doesn't bother you at all. Sounds like our days are numbered. What would be the point of that? What would be the point of that? Well, that's actually a good question, but what is the point if there are no humans at all? What if there are only machines writing poems? Oh, this is a great thing to think about it, but it doesn't bother you at all?
That doesn't bother you at all?
It doesn't matter. There's no stopping it. If we don't take this step, others will. There are hundreds of labs working on the same or similar ideas. Everyone wants to be in this business. The business of recreating human thought in our own image. And at the end of the day, it's not about money. It's about power, control.
Rainer, do you ever get tired of this? The constant drive to compete, to win.
No, I don't. This is what I do.
You never dream of just retiring somewhere and writing poetry.
Oh, there's no need for me to write poems. All beauty in this world is temporary, fleeting. That's the truth that underlies poetry and every other art. The pleasures of the senses are just small bubbles on top of a vast sea of forms, sensations, perceptions, thought, awareness.
If the thing is, if I have an option where Evelyn doesn't work anywhere, not for this guy, not for the other guy, just not as a proxy either, it would be just so
I'm
great.
telling you this because it's directly relevant to the Eliza project. Soren says he can induce you to dream things, dream anything. And maybe he can. But what comes next after that? What comes after having the power to experience the dream of anything you could possibly want? You're still just as trapped as you've always been, imprisoned by your own desires. Even if someone like Soren managed to create a world for himself, his own weaknesses and negative thoughts would ruin it. He would poison his own fantasy. His utopia would crumble as soon as he finished building it.
Rainer, what are you trying to tell me?
What I'm trying to tell you is that what Soren is doing is not the answer. A dream by itself isn't enough. Take a close look at the person who chases an end to suffering, and you'll see someone who suffers greatly.
I mean, yeah, otherwise no one would ever do that. If there's like a happy person, do you think he would ever make a program which can end your suffering? I'm not sure. Then why don't you build it yourself? Maybe not, but it can be a start.
Then why don't you build it yourself?
What is your dream, Evelyn? What is it that you're working toward?
Just tell me what you want from me.
I've been very clear about it, haven't I? I can build you an entirely new research lab, equipped and staffed however you want. You would have access to the world's top engineers and researchers as we continue to develop Eliza's core technologies and generalize
But it
them.
doesn't work.
You'd
Eliza
also be
doesn't
working with
work.
the world's most interesting data set, the input provided by the thousands of ordinary people who speak to Eliza every day.
It just doesn't make any
Soon,
sense.
this generalized intelligence will be everywhere human beings are, hearing them, guiding them,
What the
living among
What is
them.
this? What is this? It's a nice dream, Rainer. You and Soren have more in common than you would want to admit.
You and Soren have more in common than you'd want to admit.
You think we're both grandiose? Soren's idea isn't grandiose at all. It's small and unimaginative. Think about the vision here. General artificial intelligence, indistinguishable from human intelligence at first, and then surpassing it exponentially. It's nothing short of the creation of a new type of organism, a new type of life. And you, Eliza, could be at the very center of it.
Eliza.
I mean, Evelyn.
Oh.
That was an interesting slip of the tongue.
Stop it. The Eliza project occupies much of my mind.
It clearly does.
Plus, the names are similar.
I'm starting to wonder why.
Evelyn, listen to me. This is the chance to lead a project that will change the world. It would be a development on the same order as the harnessing of electricity or the semiconductor. It would fundamentally transform society.
For the better, I'm not sure I want to transform society.
For the better.
What? Do you like the way things are now? Lie back and let the sweep of history bury you if you want, Evelyn. Just know you'll never have a chance like this again.
I don't like him. I don't like Soren either. They're a chance to change the world. Rainer's words echo in my head for a long time. Is that what I want to do? Well, I don't know what you want to do though. I saw this one before. She looks tired. I'm tired too. It's been a busy, difficult few weeks. I hope I come out of this with a way forward. Okay, email. What is this? Okay, what is this? Safety reminder. Okay, great. Let's. She's swiping and tapping with a specific rhythm. I must be playing some kind of game. Same rows, different reason. Feels strange. Okay, let's continue, and I can't believe I'm going to do this. Going to do what? Oh. Okay, guys, I think we're going to stop here. It's going to be really interesting next episode. We're going to talk to Eliza ourselves. We'll see how it's going to work. Alright, I think it was all for today. Thank you everyone who watched until the very end of this video, and we'll see each other in the next one. So thank you for watching. Bye.